episode 424 of Global from Asia in India, talking about product sourcing and preparing for my first ever trip to India this February for India sourcing trip with Megla and Marg. It's a great, fun, interactive session. Let us tune in now.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
Thank you for choosing to listen to, maybe watch, Global from Asia, episode 424. We are rolling deeper into 2024, almost into February. I am preparing for my trip to India. First time ever going to Delhi for the India sourcing trip. Megla, it's been great. She came out to Chiang Mai for the Cross-Border Summit. We've known each other so many years, and I've always wanted to go. Finally going to make that move, going out there February 4th to the 14th. Today we did a live webinar last week, and we are sharing it with you today. It was so much fun, no slides. I think even if you're on audio version, you should be getting some value on this. We're talking about product discovery, product research, some tools, and then we get into Q&A, and we start talking about sourcing in India, and of course China, and a lot of nuggets. I mean, honestly, like, this should be paid, but there's just so much more value. I can't wait to be on the floor at a trade show working with people. Maybe you could even join too. We'll tune in right now. See you in the show. Are you looking for USA banking solutions for your e-commerce business? I am proud to say Mercury.com is supporting the podcast here, third year in a row at Global from Asia, and we're proud to say it because we use them ourselves for many of our own Amazon brands and e-commerce brands and joint ventures with our US structures. And they're super easy to do, online application, no fees, and they have great customer support, have helped us with trouble with Amazon Seller Central over the years about some receipts and statements and everything like that. So we're so happy to say thank you, Mercury, for supporting our show, being a great service, and supporting other e-commerce sellers. We're really proud to say they're a sponsor here, and we also have a video tutorial as well as an overview and a special link with a little bonus for you as well for us under certain conditions. Check it out at globalfromasia.com/Mercury for that information. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Mercury. Good evening, good morning. It's early evening here. I think afternoon for Megla, and a little bit over evening for Marge. How you all doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah, it's great to have you. We have a few people here in the live audience. Maybe they could in the chat say where they're dialing in from. I'm looking at the profiles. I see people from all over the world. Paul in Australia, Oksana in Australia. So if you just want to say in the chat where you're dialing in from and what you'd like to learn today, we have a fun one today. I had no slides. We're going no slides. I actually think those are the more fun ones. And I'll be sharing some of my own strategies. My first time to India. We're getting close, right? So it's getting close.
18 sleeps.
19 sleeps. I like that. 19 sleeps. Well,
18 now, I think. Is it 18, Michael?
18 now. I got the countdown. Yeah. It's exciting. Yeah. Feb going no slides. Yeah. Oksana. Thank you. Lori from Miami.
Is here. Oksana is coming to India. You'll meet her there.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't
wait.
We've
got Lori as well. Lori is on the trip too. Hi, Lori.
Nice.
How are you?
From Miami. So she's early, 6 a.m., I think, right? Right? We have a global audience. Well, I think you're also going to get a double session with me. I'm going to do, this one's a webinar style, but I'll also do a private one for confirmed attendees next week as well, where it will be a little bit more interactive. Of course, today you can ask me questions as well, but I'll be more talking about like a single product selection. But for those that are confirmed, we'll get more time with me, and we'll be going through your own products and your own questions in a much more intimate style. So let's get started. I will share my screen. Or Megla, would you like to say something first while I get my?
No, I just want to say that, this is going to be, very helpful for anybody who's, of course, planning to go to India, but also, other sourcing trips, right? I mean, if you're planning to go to China, for example,
exactly,
these tips might be helpful for you for any trip, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so we're trying our best to give. It's always so much to share, so much to go through. So this is the webinar page, just to give you a little bit of an outline. Of course, Marge is here too, co-founder as well, India Sourcing Network, and we have Meghala. I'm Mike Michelini, the host at Global from Asia. I'm dialing in from Chiang Mai, Thailand, where we've been doing sourcing in China and Thailand and Asia for 20 years. And if you can believe that, it's crazy. Time flies. So today I'm going to go through my sourcing preparations. I will be going to India. I'll also be looking for some of my own products. So I'll be sharing today some of the products I'm already buying. I'll be sharing some of the strategies, the tools, the tactics, but not just the tools, the thought process, expanding brands that already has products, decision making. We have a map of the trade show, preparing to talk to the suppliers, and we will have some Q&A at the end. But like Meghala says, this is, of course, we're going to focus on India, but I think you'll learn strategies for all of your sourcing and e-commerce needs. And thank you for being here live. Thank you for attending. So I'm just going to go right into screen share, if that's okay. We're going to get right into the fun part. And maybe if there's questions, maybe I don't mind while we're going. So this is one of my brands. It's a newer brand. So I have a few brands. This is just getting started on Amazon, so it's a new brand. It's from China and Thailand for right now, but I want to find some in India. So it's Plumipas, and it's dried flowers, pampas. So it's mostly a single product for right now. And when I think of a brand, I actually purchased this brand. I didn't start this brand, but when I think of a brand, I think of a type of a user. I think of a group of products, not a single product, but so you can expand the brand, right? So what we're going to talk about today is some ideas of how to find new product ideas for existing product category. And of course, there's so many strategies, but, and of course we have Meghala and Marge here with their experience. Maybe they could even give some more suggestions. I'm always learning as well. But this is the concept for today's webinar. And then, of course, for those that are confirmed or will confirm, we'll have a private session where I'd love to also go even more depth and also looking at your products as well in a private, more private session. But I'm going to go right into Amazon. I also recommend you put your deliver to address to New York or US. I just like the 10010, which is a New York City zip code. It sometimes helps with the search algorithm. And I'm using a tool called Seller Sprite. I know a lot of people use Helium 10. I've used Helium 10. It's somewhat similar. You can check into the pricing yourself, but I will be using this tool for today's demonstrations. And this is how I'll do my product research today. All right. I will start to look for some products. So I'm going to look in what my current product category. And you can see this is actually another plugin. I'm forgetting the name, AMZ Suggestion Expander Pro. So I had this one's totally free. So this, as you can see, I just put in a base keyword and it's giving me all kinds of keywords here for my ideas. So for example, of course, I've been thinking about this brand a lot. I'd love to take some questions at the end for your own brands. But you think of complementary products. But if you're already buying from, say, China or other countries, and you want to start in India or another country, I wouldn't really try to have I would try to have an independent product. I can see here Pampas and Vase. I might not really want that as a combination, because if I'm buying one from one country and another country, it would be very hard to do together because of assembly and all that. So I want to kind of find a standalone new product. But I could find a vase, right? I would think maybe a vase might be a good one. We don't sell this with the vase at the moment. So vases are something I'm thinking about. So I could maybe just do Pampas vase. And you can see more variations. It's going to be a little bit less quantity, but let's just put in the Pampas vase. You'll see the search results page here. And Seller Sprite is running in the background inside this browser. And I can do some product research buttons. I should have been logged in. Okay.
So is Cellar Sprite similar to Helium-10, or is it different?
Yeah, it's got very similar features. Okay, but yeah, you can compare as you see. But I think this is, of course, going to be a very low search volume product here. But I'm just giving you some ideas of how this looks. So you can see this search results page. But yeah, it does look similar to Helium-10, as you may agree with me on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you can see here the number of reviews, the ratings. But there's some cool other features that. But I'm basically right now I'm just trying to get an idea of size of this category, of this niche, to see if it's how much is worth my investments and my time to do this. So BSR, I believe people know, is best-selling rank. So the lower, the better. That means it's selling a lot. Usually people think higher might be better, but lower is better. That's a bit of a basic one. And you get an idea. So this one here is selling 85 units a day, right? According to this tool, which, I think might be worth your time if you can do it. This is the monthly revenue, the margins. This is FBA fees. So it's similar to any other tool. I'm just using Cellar Sprite today, but you can, of course, use Helium-10, and there's other tools as well for product research. But, I'm just going to, dive into this one. This is kind of sticking out. You can also see here if it has other kinds of content. Amazon Choice and Vine and our video introductions and other points. So I'm going to dive into this one here. And another cool feature about this is it pulls it automatically into the listing. So I can see here the different variations. There's multiple variations. I'll be honest, there's 4 variations. I don't like variations because that means I have to buy more inventory of different kinds of sizes and colors. I like to focus on one. I don't like a lot of variations because it just makes me have to spend more money on inventory. But I can see it doesn't make, these don't, according to this data, these might not be really worth it. This looks like the main one, right? This white variation. Again, I have to keep an eye out when I go to the India trip if I can see something like this. I don't know if Meghala can give us some insights if she thinks this is an India-sourced product. But
Could be, yeah.
But I would think vases are potentially India made and probably could be also competitive on price.
Actually, Mike, there is a fantastic supplier that I'm sort of, every time we go there, I have to go back and see, and they actually make planters and vases, and they're actually made out of metal, but they look exactly like ceramic, but when you pick it up, it's not. And, of course, a lot easier to ship because it's not heavy, it's not breakable, and they are gorgeous. So you'll have to check that one out.
Wow, okay. I'll definitely have to see that. Thank you so much.
Planters and vases. I think Meghala knows the stall I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like people are picking this white variation over the black, which actually the black looks nice, that finish, but this is just like a plain white finish. So you can see multiple trends here. But basically, I kind of like this because I'm just thinking out loud for the people watching. I'm thinking I don't want to have multiple variations, so I think I can get away with just maybe this variation. I'm not sure why the seller has these different ones. At least from this data, it doesn't look like it might be worth it.
They're different sizes. They've got large and medium.
Yeah, I see. But as far as this data tool is saying, it's the majority of the sales are this medium-sized white. So I don't know why they bother. Of course they're making some money, but you can see 88% of the reviews and ratings and the sales are on this white one. So
I wonder if they've just added those other ones lately because they don't seem to have hardly any reviews either.
True.
It's a bit strange.
Yeah, so there's so much data. Again, I'm just kind of getting some inspiration today. We're going to go to the trade show, right? 19 sleeps or 18 sleeps to India. So I just want to, I don't want to exactly find the exact vase or the exact product, but I want to start to see what some top sellers in the category I'm looking for. I want to come prepared to my trip in India. So I want to do some basic research in advance. I want to see what some top sellers, maybe now I have white over black. I don't know, medium over large. And this is, again, we're just 5-10 minutes to the session, but I'm just getting some inspiration. Today is you're getting inspiration. You're trying to understand some kind of categories. You're trying to understand, the markets, the trends. This is Keepa. It's like another plugin on top of this tool where it's showing you the trends over time of this product. So you can see if the price has not moved. It's always, according to this tool, it's always been at $9.99. But you can see the BSR has been decreasing, which actually means increasing sales. We talked about that. BSR means lower is better. It's counterintuitive, but it's 8,000, which is better. And then you can see here the blue, the ratings are increasing, and the rating has been staying steady at the 4.7. So it's a very well done listing. The sellers worked really hard on it. It might be hard to compete with them or her because they're improving. It's definitely been improving, but it also means potentially the market is increasing. And so one other cool thing about this tool is the AI generator. So a lot of these tools, every tool, I think even Google and Facebook are using AI, but they can run AI to read all the reviews for you, because a lot of times what we used to say in our older webinars or older podcasts was read the reviews and see what people are saying. But I'm not even gonna have to read the reviews. I'm getting the data right here. So you can see how many are women and men. I don't know how they exactly figure this out. So, do your own research or trust it as you could. But 40% men, 60% women, which is not as good as I wish. I usually like it to be higher one way or the other because I like to know if I'm selling to women or men. So it's kind of even, but a little bit heavier on women, right? And you can see what kind of homeowners, office, students, right? So you're getting some ideas of who's the customer buying this product. And again, it's AI. You can't totally rely on it, but you can get some insights, right? It's pretty evenly distributed across these topics, bedroom, right? So it's reading this is from the reviews. Isn't this kind of amazing? It's reading the reviews.
Like, how do they know who they are? How do they know? How does it know they're homeowners or office workers or students, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that sort of information is not really.
Well, they're extrapolating it from the review. See, it's for the office. They're mentioning, they're kind of maybe grabbing this. We could, of course, read the actual reviews directly, but so actually when I go back to this Plumipass, actually, this story is a little bit of a mess. It's not live on Amazon right now. They lost their inbound shipment, so it's going to show you out of stock, but I will show it to you anyway. But we use this to put in our product video. So we use these keywords that we learn in the actual videos or content, right? So you're learning from this data, and I would highly recommend that you use this in your own listing to reinforce the potential customer. Oh, this is good for my bedroom, right? You say it's for the bedroom. You say it's for the office. You say it's for the bathroom, right? So again, I'm not getting a little bit off topic, but I think this is helpful for your marketing and your listing creation. But you're also reading the negatives. So one of the biggest things that all of us Amazon sellers do over the years is read the bad reviews of our competitors or our potential products we want to sell and try to understand from the reviews how to improve the product. I did that very specifically with a coffee pot brand, Sisitano, where the customers on my competitors were all complaining about burning their hand when they touched the handle. And so we took a heat-resistant material handle that would not pass the heat to the handle. So you're reading their negative reviews to understand. And again, like going back to the India sourcing trip or in the sourcing trips in general, you're taking this research and you're bringing this to the booth. And I know Megala and they have a very good ebook that they'll share to those that are confirmed to come to the trip. I definitely recommend you to take that in advance and research it. I'll leave that for her to share with you. But one concern is don't look like you're a brand new seller that's never sold on Amazon, or you don't want to look like you're a newbie. So if you don't even know how to sell on Amazon or you never sold or you don't know this product, I can understand maybe what customers are saying. So when I talk to this supplier, I can talk about the importance of the about some of these features. Of course, broken, right? You can, but the coloring, the texture. So you're educating yourself on why they're buying it. You're educating yourself. So while you're not the seller, you might not have experience selling this. You can start to really understand. So this one's very important, I think. I don't know. It scratches the surface of the shelf, right? So, which I could agree with. So maybe when I'm looking at it on the floor at the trade show, I would maybe look on the bottom. Is this going to have something like that? Is it maybe, this is actually my favorite part. You're like designing the product before you even, the more you know before you even start to manufacture, right? So you can improve. So you're thinking maybe there's some kind of like a felt padding on the bottom of the base, or at least a finish, or so you're trying to write this all out, right? Maybe a pen and paper, maybe a Google Doc. I also would, if I'm really serious, I would recommend making a Google spreadsheet and a Google Doc where you're listing out your products and going through it. You're taking these notes. I'm honestly taking this right now. I don't want to spend too much of your. I like to write on paper. I'll take this notebook to India. I like paper over everything on computer, so I can flip to this page and I can go to this. But this is what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to understand this product and understand what's into the mindset of the customer. What type of customers are they? What they want, what they're liking, what they're not liking. But I feel like maybe they're not addressing the scratch bottom. Like I'm not sure. If show a little bit on the bottom here, right? But you see how they're talking about these different requirements. It looks like it's a plastic. You're diving in, and then you're going into similar products. So you're really trying to understand this, and then you're getting a lot of research into this. But they actually all look the same, and
Yeah.
don't they all look the same? Like, come on here. I feel like I want to get a little bit differentiation here. I like to put my packaging. I like to differentiate with packaging. If you look at our listing, our main image has the packaging next to it. So I really work hard on packaging so that I can stand out to my competitors with the packaging. Of course, it shows my branding too and the product. So I don't know why they're not willing or able to do that in these current listings. And they're pretty low price, to be honest with you. They are pretty aggressively low priced. So it's a little bit scary, to be honest.
What's the material? Is it plastic or is it ceramic? It's probably plastic, right? Does it say what the material is? I can't really tell.
Let's see if we can get on this preview page. But you can also see the seller's location. Of course, China, Pakistan. Two of the top sellers are Pakistan.
Interesting.
Which is, doesn't mean they're buying it from Pakistan, but they're a Pakistan-based seller, which is interesting. They might be buying it from China. Well, actually, it's the same seller, this brand. So,
Real type standard. What is
standard?
Standard?
Yeah, I mean,
What is standard?
yeah, that's not very. Let's go back to the description. Yeah, they're not.
Ceramic.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
fired at high temperature. Yeah, so it's ceramic.
Yeah, but I like your
It's
idea of Marge of metal because it's not going to break. But yeah, see, I mean, this is something again. Today's like more of a case study. I'm sharing pretty openly my own brand. But yeah, I mean, I could sell this separately, right? I could add this. I can buy this from India, and I can buy something from China. We've had other webinars and sessions over time. You don't have to go all in one country. Of course, it's easier. But if you want to experiment, like I'm going to start to get from India, you could get a completely separate ASIN, but you could kind of cross promote it with your other listings and then experiment, right? And start to grow your product categories and your brand. So yeah, I'm actually excited for Marge. Of course, I also have Marge and Megla on our side on this trip to help us. And of course, attendees will get that attention too, to get some inside information about what booths or what places or what differences. But I would change. I would try to differentiate with the packaging. I would try to make it where it doesn't break. I would make it where it doesn't scrape the bottom. Maybe people are complaining this is scraping the bottom. right? Again, I'm looking at the negative reviews from the AI tool. I could also dig in deeper onto I did the AI review. You can also download them if you wanted. You can download the images.
Interesting, Mike. That's only 7 inches high, that bar, so it's very small. That's why it's $9.99.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
tricking
it's a
us.
small one.
So it's tiny.
Yeah. I see there.
That's
But
why. It's very small bars.
yeah, so then we can.
That's interesting that such a small vase is, that it's popular.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
usually bigger, right?
I mean, I put in the CQ of Pampas, which is this bouquet, and this is also rather small. Actually, I'll have it
Okay.
right. I guess I might not be so big on the video, but this is the old product. It's a pretty big
Okay.
box.
Yeah.
But I killed this listing when I bought the brand. It was just too much cost, and but it's this now. So it's this dried grass, and the packaging. But yes, so I think that vase is for something like this, right? So the idea is people are searching for a smaller vase to put in their bathroom, their office, their desk. I think it's meant for like a desk, a bathroom table.
Yeah.
Whereas the large ones, but we went into it where we were doing the research. People weren't buying the bigger one because remember there is the bigger one there.
That doesn't make sense because to me, I don't even own a 7-inch vase. I'm thinking like that's just so tiny to put anything in. I would like 10 or 12 inches at least.
I think he's signing me out.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Unless it's like for more tiny, like little bunches of flowers, just like the small iris little things, not like a big flower display.
Yeah. I mean, because it could also maybe it is about the price too, but they have the other variations.
Yeah,
the bigger one.
$10.99. How big's that? Can we click into that?
Yeah. 9. So it's not that much.
It's
still rather.
Still.
I feel like India does have large. I mean, again, it's my first time, but I've seen India vendors in other shows. I think they usually have. I guess they can make any size, but I'm getting this data, so they're showing the two next to each other.
Yeah. So that looks the black one looks large. I would reckon they would get a lot of returns because if I looked at that, I would expect that black vase to be at least 12 inches high. It just looks so much bigger in that photo. Very deceiving.
True. Yeah. Interesting.
That's very deceiving.
So I think for people going on the trip, like some people have specific products in mind because they're maybe already selling something and they want to maybe look for new designs or new suppliers, or maybe they're sourcing from China. They want to diversify. So some people have specific products in mind, and we help them find suppliers of those types of products. So for example, I'm of course not going to take names of any specific products, but Lori has a very specific product that she wants to source. And so she's very focused that, okay, this is what I want to do. And we're, helping her with that. We're setting up factory visits and all. Cheney is joined as well. She has specific products too. But at the same time, I think this is also a discovery trip. So there's just so many cool products out there. And once you go to the trade show, you should go with an open mind that you might be able to discover something that then you have to go back and research and see if it's viable and what the competition is like. So I think that's, both approaches work because for people who've been to the trade show, they know the types of products that, they will see there. But for people who haven't been there, it's just more of a discovery sort of, at the trade show, you're discovering new products. And then what we also tell people is just whatever catches your attention, you take note of it. Whatever's, it seems different, unique, something that you haven't seen before, take note of it in your diary. And then you can also do research on it later on. That's also one approach, specifically if you don't have any products in mind. But I think this also really helps, Mike. Like if you, do research beforehand, if you have specific products, that's fine. Then you go discover products. That's the second thing. And the third thing, I think what you're saying is do some research on Amazon and see if there are some high demand products that you could potentially source. So there are 3 approaches, right?
Exactly.
And some of these here, like I sort of never really looked at vases, but one of those you just flicked through had 1,000 sales a month plus
Yeah.
1,000. So I mean,
these are big.
I would not have. Yeah, look at that 1K plus bought in the past month, and that's that's a big sort of
and.
So how would you start from scratch, Mike? So let's say, we know that there are a lot of wooden products at the trade show. There's mango wood, and there are a lot of home decor items that are made from mango wood. And this could be, anything, things like trays, bowls, cake stands, and, cutlery, like huge amount of wooden products. So how would you start looking for wooden products that are popular?
Well, you can see here. I mean, if I really was totally clean slate and I had wood, you can see I typed in wood again. I'm using this free plugin. I forgot the name again. I set up once and forget about it. But
right? Was it?
Yeah, AMZ Expander. I think it's.
Yeah.
I'm totally. You can, as a marketer, you just plug in all these things. And
that's a lot of.
You can see wood hangers is pretty hot. Wood. Wood. This one is really sticking out to me because you can see wood hangers and wood, and there's 90,000, right? So, I mean, I guess if we're really clean slate, wood, I don't know if you think hangers, it has a little bit of metal, but those just come up. I don't look at sponsored because, we want to find the organic. So I'm looking down at.
Mike, you could do wooden vases because you don't want water in your pampas grass. So,
yeah, I agree.
You could get a fantastic mango wood vase for that pampas.
Yeah, I know. I think you're
brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, there's wooden vases or vases. Yeah, here it's. I'm ready. I want to do it. I don't.
The choices are going to be so different because you can choose. It can be all shaped how you want it.
Yeah,
you find something really different. I think in a wooden vase.
Yeah, let's get some inspiration. Of course, if you want really pure inspiration, you go to Etsy, Pinterest. If people really are just doing very high level. Just concepts. I work with some product designers in some of my brands that are very talented branding experts. They don't really look at Amazon first. They look at Pinterest first. They look at Etsy first. But I'm looking at more as a data. But if you want really pure inspiration, we can even do it now. But jump in. But this is giving us also an overview. Again, this plugin is embedded into Amazon, so you can see it's across all wooden vases, right? So it's giving me some data here. It's 69,000 units a month with $1 million in revenue, a bit over $1 million, $23 average selling price, and 4.5 average out of 5 rating, with each rating about 341, which I think, actually Tober Rabinovich is a very good Amazon expert I learned from. I think a lot of people say if it's too many, if it's like 1,000 reviews average, it's very hard, I mean, of course, the less, the better, because that means it's easier for you to come in. But I'm not too scared with 341 reviews. Of course, that's still not so easy, but that means you got to get up to more reviews, of course, the better, as anybody here would know. But I'm not so scared with 341. Like 1,000 or something more would be very, very competitive. But I feel like I can still enter this. So that gives me an overview of the category. Again, I skipped the sponsored. I look at this is starting to be like the Amazon picks and the others. And again, I'm not going to pick exactly what I want because I'm going to go to India sourcing trip and we'll see all these vendors. Maybe going to see a vendor I like to work with, or maybe Megla or Marge have some recommendations because we're going with their expertise and their network. That if I find a supplier, I might want to work with them more than just the exact product. So I want to just get some ideas of the product, to look at the pricing, but these are some of the top selling wooden vases.
Those first 2 are India products. They're both mango wood.
Oh, okay.
People listening don't know, mango wood is India centric. It's from a mango tree and it is sustainable. So it's a really good brand story as well, being mangoes. Once the fruit is finished bearing, which is about 10, 12 years, the tree is chopped down and a new one planted. So you're not actually killing a 100-year-old forest or something to get the wood. So mango wood is a very, very popular wood in India. Very light. It's a lot lighter than acacia wood in weight. So it's great for shipping as well. So it doesn't weigh as much.
That's
So
nice.
you won't see it on China because they don't have mango wood. So you're going to stand out from the crowd. See, this is the benefit of people coming to India. If you go to Alibaba, those white ceramic vases are going to be everywhere. Well, that's not what you want to do and look for that in India. You want to look for something like these mango wood type things that are unique, that aren't on Alibaba.
Agreed. I'm saying,
because then you don't need to, to do as much, because even if they've got a lot of reviews, you've got something totally unique on the page that no one else is selling. So the reviews don't really come into it as much then, because it's more that grabbing the look of the person. So there's another couple of different, no, they're not mango wood. That one's not.
well, you could almost find one you like and maybe have it made in mango wood. Maybe is that possible?
Yeah.
I actually like this wall one personally.
Yeah, of course you could. Yeah, they can do anything. Once you have something you like, you just give them the style and they'll just make it to be whatever you want.
But I still see some opportunity here. We're scrolling through. You got to also just be careful. They're putting more and more sponsored everywhere. So I'm trying to not look at sponsored. I'm looking at, just because of product research, because they're paying, right? You want to find the ones that are organic. So they're not having that many reviews, and they're pretty far up. I'm personally liking this. I just think it might be cool variation with the pampas, right? So within this.
Yeah, and
you put it up on your wall, and you combine it with the pampas potentially, and offices might like that more for saving table space. But
And I know for a fact one of those is sourced in India because I recognize the name of the.
Interesting. All right. This is the mango 55. Actually, it's getting a little bit of a not. I try to get 4.5 usually, so it's getting some issues.
Go down to the one. Let's have a look what the 1 stars are, what the problem is. Be interesting.
Can Seller Sprite tell us what the
it's doing it, but
summarize?
it takes a little bit, but it's also not so many reviews. It usually wants more reviews to do the AI, but we can also while it's running, I click the run button. But let's see what these critics.
Buy.
I was right there.
Yeah, it says do not buy. It stinks. Bad
Smell.
smoky smell.
Smoky smell.
Yeah, well,
Maybe there was some moisture when it was packed. There was some moisture.
Yeah,
and because of that,
smells.
Always got to make sure that the wood is dried properly. It's cured.
But this is painful to read, but this is how you learn. But it's all about the smell here. So we got to learn. Yeah. So definitely,
that's a good learning, actually.
Exactly. This is saving us, thousands of dollars or in time to know. And then we go to the vendor at the booth and we say, oh, we don't want it to smell. How do we make sure it doesn't have any smell? Right? We bring it back to them.
Yeah, there's certain temperatures that it has to be at. And the moisture readings. So if you get a QC done and they do a moisture reading, they will be able to tell you whether it's, got any too much moisture in it, because there are certain degrees of moisture levels.
Yeah.
That will work.
So again, you can see how much. Yeah, it's not enough reviews. But I think we can read it ourselves. But it's really unfortunate, I'm sure the seller. I feel for the seller. They probably work really hard on this, and but it's gonna be hard for them to recover that. And maybe they got to fix that problem, because if they keep selling it, so we'd have to make sure we have to learn about this, and then when we go there, fix that, and maybe maybe learn. But this is very valuable insights, right? So before I go to the trade show, I know this is an issue with this potential vase, and I speak to them, but time's flying when you're having fun. I can't believe I'm looking at the time.
And we have some questions here, actually. Paul is
maybe
saying
there are questions. I'm
strategies for not being overwhelmed by the number of opportunities. Also, what are the best prices and terms are we likely to be able to negotiate? Paul, are you coming on India sourcing trip? No, right? Are you going? Can we discuss sourcing trips rather than product selection?
Sure, we can talk sourcing trips.
It's a discovery trip for me for sure. What happens when 3 MMM come together? Sourcing life gets easy. Yes, yeah,
Wow,
with
I
three
like that.
M's today. I
Yeah,
recall
it's
seeing at
true.
this
It's
time,
the
maybe
three
October.
M's.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
cool.
true. We were a little bit more heavy on the product research, but I'm basically I'm making even in my brain, but I should be writing it down. But I am taking some rough notes. You're trying to understand the product. You want to know your product. I think the biggest mistake buyers make is they think the factory is supposed to be the expert, right? People think so. You need to know your product, and by knowing the problems in your product, I'm now a little bit of a I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit more about the wood and vases when I go to India, and I'll go through this category for sure, thinking about how I can complementary sell a product with another product I have and bundling or cross promoting. But I'm learning the landmines. I feel like selling online or e-commerce or product is it's more about dodging the bullets. There's a lot of landmines. And one mistake can really cost you a lot of time and money. So you're trying to almost prevent those problems and also look like an expert. But I guess the first one was how to not be overwhelmed, right? Is that one? Should I stop screen
Yeah,
share?
yeah. He said, how do we not get overwhelmed? And I mean, if you want, we can also share the other document that you have, which is the trade show document. I mean, that's something that we share with the trip attendees. And Mike and I were contemplating whether we should share it publicly or not, but maybe we can share a bit of it publicly, but not too much.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I did get access to that, and it's very valuable. But I want to respect your hard work. I know how it is to make these, but
Yeah, but go ahead and share it, and maybe we can go through that document a little bit because that does have
okay.
some tips specifically around the Delhi fair and how it's organized and everything. And I mean, all the trip attendees here, we're going to do a deep dive for you, once we're there. But do you want to
So
scroll up and
yeah,
maybe?
so I have the PDF. I showed the map a bit, but yeah, I mean, there's tons of rooms here, right? And we have this layout that's very overwhelming. I know it's definitely overwhelming. I mean
So
that's why I guess I have been
basically,
focusing on product search here because again it's first time in
yeah,
India, but Canton Fair or China or Hong Kong, if you just go in with no idea what you want, I know people that do that, and they're usually it's not as effective. At least pick a category. At least pick a group
yeah,
of products. I mean, because you can't really get everything. So I would at least say pick a room, right? Look at this map. That's why I asked Megla for the map. At least pick a
yeah.
couple of sections and strategize because it is overwhelming. But what were you saying, Megla?
Yeah, I was just saying that for the Delhi fair specifically, I mean, there are about 3,500, 4,000 exhibitors. And there are two areas basically. One is the permanent stalls, which are more like shops. If you've been to, maybe like a wholesale market like Ewu or something like that. So it's more like that. And then there's the temporary booths. So if you scroll up a little bit, there's a shot of the temporary booths. So this go down. Yeah. So this is they're basically just temporary booths like any other trade show. And so most of our focus is going to be at the temporary booths when we're at the trade show, but then we also can go to the permanent booths and see what products are on display over there, because though I mean they're basically showrooms, like there are sellers or suppliers that have showrooms over there, and they display products year round, and they have more samples over there than there are in the temporary area. And in the temporary area, you'll find, small booths that are maybe just like 10 square meters, and there are huge, ginormous booths that are, in the middle of the hall. And those are the more well-established suppliers generally because they have invested more in the booth and in the products and everything. Whereas, the smaller booths are, of course, maybe smaller suppliers. And most suppliers at the trade show, they are manufacturers. First of all of them are exporters. So that's a good thing about this fair, that it's really export focused. So they have, their export licenses, they understand the products that are required in overseas markets, and they are export ready. Now, most of them are manufacturers, but some of them may be trading companies who are maybe just, sourcing different products from different types of, manufacturers and selling them. But by and large, most are manufacturers. And sometimes it's very easy to tell if they're a manufacturer or not. You just look at the product display in their booth, And if it is really, focused on one particular material, then generally they are a manufacturer. Like if they have everything, in wood and metal, they're most likely a manufacturer. If they have everything related to, home furnishings or rugs, and that works in China too, right, Mike?
Yeah,
That's
it's a
something.
similar strategy.
Yeah. Even at the Global Services trade
Yeah,
show, that's what we talk about over there. So,
exactly.
but it's very common in India for suppliers to outsource, and they might manufacture one product in house, and they might outsource other products. So that's something that you have to be aware of. And you also have to make sure that, in India, the issue sometimes is when a supplier doesn't specialize in a product, then there could be, potentially quality issues down the line. So as much as possible, try to find a supplier that specializes in the product that you're looking for.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, it's not India, but China. Like I was at Canton Fair last year, and I found a new supplier for a product. It was it's definitely, I think, a China product. But when I saw the booth, they only had that one product, which is a flask. It's a drinking flask.
Yeah.
All they had, it was like shelves and shelves and shelves of flasks. Like, whereas you go to another booth and they have like, oh, you're looking for this product. Oh yeah, we have it over here. And it's like one shelf in the back, like on the third shelf, and then there's like 4 of them in a box, and they take out that's not their product, right? Or so yeah, for sure. Like I agree.
Yeah, and see, going back on that vase, because you're going to the fair, you're getting an export manufacturer, and we don't know where those people source that vase. They might have got that from India Mart, which is the local, not the actual export-focused suppliers. So if they've bought those and they haven't been packed properly, haven't got the right sort of little decant things in the boxes when it's on the sea and things like that, and they can be the difference between getting a good supplier and a bad supplier. Because if you just go onto India Mart and don't know any better, you could end up with an inferior product with a supplier who doesn't really know how to export those products and how they should be packed for export.
Agreed.
So that's the thing with this fair, that everyone there is an export licensed sort of person, so it makes a difference as well.
Agreed. Yeah, so we're here on this product range. Yeah, and then like in this document, of course, touching the product to see their quality, because if the sample at the show is bad, you gotta assume their mass production is gonna be worse. If their samples aren't even, if the samples are not even good at the show, then you can't imagine the quality of the production.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the quality. I remember the first time that we did the fair, we went as groups around and we were looking for bad, like things that, weren't really perfect, and it was very hard to spot things. It's amazing. The quality there is amazing, really.
Great. Yeah, I'm really
Paul, do you have any other specific questions about the trade show or about navigating the trade show?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty extensive document.
Yeah, this is an extensive document. And okay, terms and prices. Yeah. So prices, so you're not placing orders at the trade show, right? You're basically there to find potential suppliers that you can, work with, to understand their capability, and to get as many supplier contacts as possible in your specific niche. So Paul, I know what your niche is. You would focus on that niche, and you would spend like 2 days out of 3 days in that one hall where you can find, your niche and talk to each and every supplier that does that category. And so you would discuss prices at that time. Terms, you can ask the supplier for terms, but I don't think that's the right time to negotiate prices and terms, because at that point you're just collecting as much information as possible. Then you'll probably go into sampling, and that would be done after the trade show. Or if you can visit the factory, while you're there, sometimes they can even produce a sample for you, while you're there. For example, if you go to Jaipur, we're spending 2 days there. And if one of the suppliers you meet at the show is from Jaipur, they can even develop a sample for you. But, you have, like, if you're coming with us on the trip, you have access to our sourcing experts who can go with you along with you. They can walk around the fair, and they have a good idea of the prices, like what the price should be of specific products. So at least, if a supplier quotes you a very high price, they'll be able to tell you, okay, no, this is not a right price. So they can help negotiate the price as well. But at that point, you're not really negotiating and all of those, not going into the nitty gritty. Would you agree, Mike? I mean, what do you generally do?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest point is you came all this way. You shouldn't be like really haggling or negotiating. I think you're just really building this relationship and letting them offer something to you. And they're there. I don't know. I mean, they definitely invested time and money to be there. So they want you as a customer. I don't think you want to just dive right into price and terms. Of course, you want to get some basic ideas, but I would more focus on building the relationship, making sure the product quality is good, knowing they're someone I can work with long term. I mean, I think what I tell people is the biggest mistake a lot of people have made, especially me over the years, is we focus too much on the price, right? We focus too much on the price, which of course is important, but you should, sometimes, I don't know about India, but definitely in China, if you push the price too low, they'll find a way to make it cheaper. You know what I mean? They can make it cheaper, right? They can make it cheaper.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So I think delayed payment terms. So Paul has a follow-up question, right? If I can achieve delayed payment terms, that helps me grow faster. Absolutely. And generally what we found is delayed payment terms comes with repeat orders. So, for example, Mark, your supplier doesn't even ask for any advance payment, right? So, when do you generally pay your supplier now?
When my goods are on the water, I say, you haven't billed me yet, and then I pay. But I've been dealing with the same supplier since 2017. So, yeah. But, I mean, it takes to build up. But something that, not everyone agrees with me, but I like to say to a supplier, because if I see something I like, I would go and research it and think, right, I can get $40 for that. So I can't pay more than $8 or $9 for it. So instead of me dreaming about that for the whole, 3 days at the fair and thinking that I'm going to do that, and then I find out that it's going to cost me $14, I would say to the supplier, can you make me that? I can only pay $9. Is that a fair price? And if they say, no, we're 12 or 14, I just walk away. That product isn't for me. A lot of people don't think that. They like to haggle and negotiate, but I don't want something that's going to be $9 if it's going to be paper thin or inferior quality or inferior materials. So to me, if they can't do it for maybe, you can negotiate down $1 or $2, but if it's going to be like $5 gap or something, it's a waste of your time because you're never going to achieve that. And it's so important now that you have that profit margin in it. So it's no good looking for something that, is going to be selling for $14 and you buying for 14 and you can only get 40 for it because you're not going to make any money on it. It's just not going to be enough margin in it with all the Amazon costs and everything. So you've got to think about that as well. And I think be honest with the supplier and tell them what you can afford to pay for a product. But I know, Mike, what do you think about that? Or do you like to do it the other way? And haggle on.
There's different ways of getting financing, right? It depends on where your company's registered, but you could also get financing. You know how to get financing. You're basically trying to get financing from the supplier, right? Is basically your question. But you can also get financing on even Amazon themselves, depending on your company's background and registration. You can get Amazon financing on your inventory, your purchases, and there's other third-party platforms. But I just feel like if you just come to anywhere, your first question is terms before you've even done any business with them. Maybe I would just say over time, I want to build my relationship with them. I've been able to do this in China, Thailand, other countries, but I think at least that's my style. I'm also not a very aggressive bargainer. I guess I'm the good cop. Maybe I'm a bad cop in your business. Or some other strategies is some fun ones is maybe, again, like I don't want to be deceiving, but in negotiation, maybe you have a business partner or an investor or a board of directors that's not with you, that you have to convince them to buy from them, and you're trying to help. You're the good cop, right? You want to buy from them, but I have to report back after my trip to my partners and my investors or my board of directors, and I have to justify this order. And I want to order from you, but you have to help work with me I'm not the decision maker. I may be part of the decision, but it's not only my decision. I'm not the only one deciding. You have to give me a case to bring back after my sourcing trip to propose to my partners about this decision. And even my wooden vase, I have to, even they're not maybe a partners, I do have partners, but even my team, I have to justify this to my team, right? They're like, what? This price is so high, or this term? So you're just trying to collect information. You're not trying to like bargain with them. You're saying, oh, is that possible? Is it something we can work out now or later? Maybe you can give us terms. I know maybe we don't know each other right now. We can do it like this at the beginning, but hopefully over time, is this something you've done before? Is this something we could do together? Is this something you can help? I can offer this to my partners when I come back, and I put this on my notes when I go back to my office, my home country. Can I say that this supplier, you would be willing to do that at some point? Maybe not now. Like this is my style.
Yeah, I give them like.
And I think the conversation about terms becomes easier at this point because you're there, you're face to face with the supplier. They know that you have invested time, money, and effort to come all the way to India, and you're basically a serious buyer. So they would definitely give you better terms, maybe not on the first order, but maybe on the second or the third order. They will definitely give you better terms because they know that you're a serious person, a serious buyer. They have met you face to face, compared to somebody they've only met online or who's just sent them an email. Like if you send a cold email to a supplier and say that, hey, I want, 70-30 terms, they would never do that, right? But if you are there in person, you place the first order, maybe their terms are 30-70, and you say, hey, I want 50-50, this is my product, I'm selling well, and I want to launch this brand, blah, 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 whatever, tell your story. They might agree to 50-50, and then you tell them, hey, on the next order, I want 70-30. I think that just becomes an easier conversation because there's more trust. They see you in person.
I can't say I've done it, but some people do 3 payments. I mean, I think that's a little bit excessive, but some people do like the last 20-30% later, like in arrival and things like that. There's a lot of creative ways. So you could do like 30-40-30, if that's the right math, something like that. But I feel like that's just excessive. Just for me personally.
Something that we haven't touched on and is big in India is having an order value, so a minimum sort of order value. So if you go into a booth and just say they're selling all nice wooden things and you think, oh, gee, I like that, that, and that, you can go to them and say, what is your minimum order value? So if I spent $8,000 with you, what can I have? And they might let you take 4 different products with a much lower MOQ to do like a test order, and then you can sort of see which products work. You might decide to keep them all, you might not, but it's better than having to buy 500 of something and being stuck with it if it doesn't work. So you can do 2 or 3, and particularly from one manufacturer, you've got a bigger shipment then, so your shipment is going to be cheaper, and you're actually starting off trialing 4 products or 3, 4, depending on what you like. And if you use the same material, and this is what I did, I've got a brand and there's 9 products in it, and it's all made of the same material, all different niches, different types of products, but cool. Every one of my products, if I go into it, will have the 3 of my products frequently bought together because people buy them because they match their home, because the decor matches. Amazing. So, and that's how I started. I was a kid in a candy store and I didn't know which product to pick. And I said to him, God, I don't know what. And he said to me, well, if you spend $8,000, you can take, and I actually started off with 8 products that Amazing. Day. And that's how, and I actually ended up keeping some. Some don't sell as good as others, but they still sell because I don't even advertise. I don't do PPC on a couple of them because they just sell because people buy them to go with the other things. So that's something else you can look at in India because they will do that for you. And I mean, you can get down to 5,000 depending on the factory. So that's something else that you can look at when you're in a shop and you're a bit, I don't know what to take. And if it's something that will cross-sell, hey, it's a great brand story. It's everything because it looks the same and people want to buy matching things for their home. So I think that's something else people should look at. It could be hammered metal. It could be, mango wood. It doesn't have to be, exactly the same product, just something that looks similar.
Yeah, the materials. This is great. I mean, this is gold. I mean, I think I'm getting some good comments from the people here. But I think we should start to wrap up today. We're going to have another live session for confirmed attendees next week where we'll have more like interactive. They could come even on the screen sharing and audio and share their. I can't wait. I mean, it seems like Megla says some people confirmed today already have products. I can't wait to work with them, next week on a call and meet them in person in India. Maybe we talk a little bit about the show again for those that might want to see if they can grab a last chance and ticket. It's February. Arrivals on the 4th of February. And there's two choices, right? You can join the factory visits or not, but it's a 10-day trip to the 14th. There's a huge agenda. Maybe we could share the screen. I could go through the agenda. It's right on the website. I've been studying it myself for my own preparations, but it's a lot, and I know how much.
And trip attendees, we're going to give you a detailed agenda, so you don't need to look at the one on the website. And Mike, you too. Like, we're going to give you a detailed.
I'm sure. I've heard
and itinerary.
from others, but yeah, the core events the 4th to the 11th, and then there's the optional factory tours 11th to 13th. But yeah, it's going to be really, really intense. Hyper learning, networking, culture experiences. Or did Bollywood night? I can't wait. Wow, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I guess
if you scroll right at the top, there's you can go.
Yeah, I think it was a separate page. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a separate page. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we arrive on the 4th. I already have my flight and visa all set, so I can't wait. And then meet each other. And then there's the sourcing conference. So we get everything ready. The dinner and Bollywood night on the 5th. And then the trade show starts on the 6th. So each day we have trade shows, and I'll be there with you coming. And like Megla says, other experts will be helping you. And then we have masterminds at evenings and networking dinners for those core days of the trade show. Also, I'm curious about this school. I think I'm going to pick the school, but there's other things to do on recreation days or sightseeing or school visits and dinners, but it's action packed. And then trade shows again and day trip to Taj Mahal. I can't wait for that. That's going to be amazing. Of course, the photo there for the social media, and then the trip is done, but then there's the factory tours on the 11th. And factory tours and visits. So it's as you can see, that we started on the 4th and can all the way to the 13th. So it's an intense learning, networking, cultural experience that I think is one that I can't wait for. So we also have a coupon code. Yeah, you can use GFA coupon code for a $150 discount. And I'd love to see you there, and we'll help you. There's also Telegram groups that we're chatting in with other attendees already, and there'll be some pre-calls and workshops. So, Megla, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying, the coupon code, and we're going to start our pre-trip webinars this week. So Friday is the first one, and we've got 2 next week, and then another one. So we're going to be covering, of course, there's one session with you, then we're going to be covering walking the trade show. And then we'll do one session with all of our sourcing experts. So introduce the group to all of the experts that are going to be with us on the trip. Yeah, so there's a lot of preparation. And of course, we help you with the visa, with the flight guidelines as well. So we have very detailed documents about, how to do your visa.
Yeah, it was very well planned.
Was it easy to do the visa, Mike?
I went through it. I mean, it was as easy as could be for what they asked for. I mean, your documents really helped.
A lot of information that they ask.
They asked for a lot. I'm not going to lie. But I mean, your documents and support was really helpful. But yeah, it's all set and it was issued pretty quickly, I think. And if you made I think I had one clarification I had to send, and it's pretty easy online. I did it all online with the forms and online flow. Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes ask for an invitation letter as well. So I don't know, they ask for it. For some people, they asked for it, but previously they never used to ask for an invitation letter. But this time, for some reason, they are asking.
I had to do it. I tried to I don't know if I tried to just put I uploaded your itinerary or your welcome letter. I was hoping they were just going to. I was hoping to just stamp it, but they actually asked. They re-followed up, and then I asked you, but. Sometimes I just stuff it with something because maybe they just rubber stamp it, but they still wanted it. Anyway,
strange, isn't it?
But yeah, it's gonna be great. I think we're mostly good for now. I mean, there'll be another session. So if I think there's some people already on this call that are confirmed. So I'll see you again next week live in the call, and I'll see you in India in person. And, any questions, hopefully today's session was helpful. Megan and I were chatting. We're like, are we giving too much away, for free? I think it was. I'm seeing Mark giving up all this about MOV and everything. Man, we gave a lot, but I think there's even more. I mean, there's so much more knowledge and experience that we can't possibly share on a webinar that we'll be doing in person and in these next upcoming masterminds. So thank you all for joining us today. I really have fun with this. Is the second one Megla and Mark and I have done together, and we have fun here on these. So it's great.
Yes, we do. MMM.
The MMM squad, yeah.
I think just spending the day with all different people and chatting, I love it, because you get to meet people from all around the world. They've all got different ideas, different products, and everyone's learning together, and I think it's brilliant.
Awesome. Can't wait. All right, everybody. Seems like I hope we got all the questions. There was a lot, actually, but thank you, everybody, for your time.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Save the date. Cross-Border Summit 2024 is coming back. 2023's was epic. Never got such great feedback in all of our events. Cross-Border Summit 2024, we're planning already a year in advance. Save the date. November 14th and 15th will be the core event, but of course, it is a full week of amazing things. There's pre-events, post-events, workshops, trainings, elephant sanctuaries. We have a lot of amazing things here in Chiang Mai, Thailand again. So I would love to see you there. We've already pre-sold some tickets to previous people. We will be opening up tickets soon. Subscribe to get updates at 2024.crossbordersummit.com. Also check out videos and testimonials from last year, as well as all of our years. We did them in China, and this will be our 6th one. It will be great to meet you there and network and make some great relationships. I can't wait. November 2024. Thank you so much for choosing to listen to these shows and watching Global from Asia. 424 of these every other week. We already got the next one rolling. It'll be a fun one, talking about the load pipe protocol, show and tell, meeting our co-founder CTO, Bo. Can't wait for that one. And I can't wait to go to India. So I really appreciate all of you. I've never been busier in my whole life. Actually, a lot of you I'm talking to about working together on projects and businesses. It's the dream. And, it's over 10 years of Global from Asia, 15 in Asia, 20 years in e-commerce. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes. It's dedication, passion, love, synergizing with your team. But let's back to India. First time to go. There's also going to be some interactive sessions I'm going to do. I'm going to do masterminds. Can't wait to work with a group going already, talking to them, doing a private session. I think that'll be finished by the time this podcast goes online. But if you want to join, I don't know the next time I'll be going to India. And if you want to work with me and other experts there, this is the time to make it. But no matter what, I really recommend India sourcing trip. I know Megla is doing amazing things. Everybody's always so excited when they go, both attendees and experts and everybody else. So it would be really cool to catch you there. As we mentioned, GFA is a coupon code for $150 discount. And we'd love to just meet you there, going to Taj Mahal. I'll share some updates. We'll definitely do a video blog on it. But maybe even do some podcasts on the floor and other sessions. So I can't wait. This is what life is about, taking action, making things happen, traveling, exploring cultures, new products, ideas, and more. Thanks again for watching. See you on the next episode. Subscribe, like, blah, 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 whatever. Take care. Bye-bye.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.